Good evening, everyone. Muslims, Christians, and all those who came to listen. Good evening, dear Professor, Dr. Zakir Naik. My name is Lucas. I am a Christian, and today I would like to ask a question that deeply troubles me. Every time I look around, I see so many different religions: Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and even within each religion, there are different currents, denominations, and interpretations. So my question is simple but important. If God is one, why are there so many different religions? Who invented all these religions?
Thank you so much, Lucas, for your question. It's a question many people ask, and it's a legitimate one. Let me share with you what the Quran and the teachings of Islam say on this subject. Firstly, the Quran states that God, Allah, sent messengers to all nations, and that each of these messengers brought a message of guidance tailored to their people. The Quran says, "And for every community we have sent a messenger, prophet, so that they may follow the way of Allah." Surah 10, verse 47. This means that God never created multiple gods or contradictory religion. God sent the same fundamental message to all people. Worship the one God, avoid injustice, and follow the path of righteousness. Secondly, many religions have been altered over time. The original message sent by the prophets was pure, but over the years, some people added their own interpretations, traditions, or even superstitions. This gave rise to divergent practices and beliefs. Thirdly, Islam teaches that God is one, Tawheed, and that all authentic religions should recognize God's oneness. The divergence we see today stems from this: human actions, not of God. As the Quran mentions, woe to those who write the book with their own hands and then say, "This is from God," in order to earn a small price for it. Surah 2, verse 79. In other words, some alterations are due to human intentions, the thirst for power, or the incorrect transmission of the divine message. Finally, God left a constant proof in creation and rational guidance. Those who sincerely seek the truth will find it. The multiplicity of religion is therefore a consequence of human history, but God remains one, unique, and the message He sent through His messengers is clear. Worship must be directed solely to Him. So, to put it simply, God did not invent multiple religions. God sent a single message, and it is man who introduced the differences and division over time.
Thank you, Dr. Zakir, for this explanation. But if God sent the same message to all nations, why do some religions say that Jesus is God, and others insist on strict monotheism?
That's a very good question, Lucas. Let's look at it in detail. The original message of all the prophets was monotheistic. Even Jesus, Isa, peace be upon him, taught the worship of one God, as mentioned in the Gospel according to Mark. The first commandment is, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." Unfortunately, some human interpretations, they added concepts that weren't in the original message, such as the divinity of Jesus. This wasn't taught by Jesus himself, but came through human traditions and modifications of the text. The Quran confirms this point when speaking of Jesus. They have attributed sons to God, but He is one and almighty. Surah 4, verse 171. This shows that the true religion of God is Islam in the sense of submission to divine unity, and that current differences are often the result of human alteration and not divine will. Furthermore, history shows us that some communities have created new practices to adapt to their local cultures or to strengthen the influence of religious leaders. For example, in ancient times, some prophets were replaced by legendary figures in popular narratives. Texts have been translated and interpreted according to the interests of the powerful of each era. That is why Dr. Zakir Naik always insists, if we want to understand God's true message, we must return to the pure text unaltered which He left us. For Muslims, it is the Quran unchanged for 1400 years. Finally, an important lesson: all religions originally stemmed from a single message. However, human interpretation and cultural traditions have created the differences we see today. As the Quran says, "And we send the messengers with clear proofs, and we send down with them the book and the balance, so that mankind might be upheld in justice." Surah 57, verse 25.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zakir, for these clear and insightful explanations. I also thank the audience for giving me the opportunity to ask this question. Your answer has been very enlightening. And I think many of us have been able to understand why there are so many religions today, while still remaining respectful of divine truth.
Thank you, Lucas, for this sincere question, and thank you to everyone here, Muslims and Christians, for your attention and open-mindedness. Don't forget that the most important thing is to search the truth with sincerity, to respect the beliefs of others, and to follow what is right and pure according to divine guidance. Before we part ways, I invite you once again to subscribe to our channel, like the video, share it, and to write in the comments, Allah Akbar. If you enjoyed this enriching dialogue, now let's look at a very important point that many people are unaware of. The diversity of religion, that which we observe today, was not created by God, but is the result of the historical evolution of human societies and their interpretations. Initially, every messenger sent by God brought a clear and pure message. But over time, some humans began to alter the message. Whether intentionally or through ignorance, people have altered texts, added traditions, and sometimes even invented beliefs to strengthen their own power or influence. The Quran speaks of this very clearly. Woe to those who write the book with their own hands and then say, "This is from God," in order to earn a little profit. Surah 2, verse 79. These words show that the differences between religions do not come from God, but from human interventions. Let's take a concrete example. Jesus, peace be upon him, Christianity believes in his divinity, but if we look at historical sources and even the original Gospels, it becomes clear that Jesus never claimed to be God. He simply called people to worship him, a single God, to do good and follow the path of justice. The Quran confirms this, and do not say three, stop, it will be better for you, Allah is but one God, Surah 4, verse 171. This shows that some human beliefs, even when deeply rooted, can deviate from the original messages sent by God. Another point, the diversity of religion is also a reflection of different cultures and historical contexts. For example, some Hindu or Buddhist practices have developed around local traditions, philosophical philosophies, or social needs specific to those people. These practices do not stem from a universal divine message, but from human choices and interpretations. And this is where Islam distinguishes itself. It preserves the message intact for 1400 years. The Quran has remained unchanged, protected by Allah Himself. Indeed, we have sent down the Quran, and we will protect it. Surah 15, verse 9. Thus, if someone is looking for the religion that is remain faithful to the oneness of God and to the original guidance, Islam offers this clarity. But be careful. I'm not saying that other beliefs are worthless. Many of these religions still contain moral values and sound teachings. But if we want to understand the source of the true divine message, we must return to the unaltered revelation, not to human additions. Let's take another interesting example. The prophets before Muhammad, peace be upon him, such as Moses and Abraham, their messages were also monotheistic. But over the centuries, some altered the text, added their own interpretations, and introduced practices not intended by God. As a result, today we have different branches, sects, and sometimes even contradiction between teachings. That is why when we ask ourselves, if God is one, why so many religions? The answer is very simple. God never created multiple religions. God sent a single, pure, universal message. It is humankind that has diverged, modifying or interpreting the message according to their desires and circumstances. And this is what the Quran calls us to understand. Divine guidance is clear, universal, and unchanging. Anything that deviates from this is due to the hand of man and not to God. Finally, one last point that many are unaware of. God has given us reason and intelligence to discern the truth. If we examine history, creation, and the teachings of all the messengers with sincerity, we can clearly identify what is authentic and what has been altered. The Quran says, "Say, this is my way. I invite to Allah with certain insight, I and those who follow me." Surah 12, verse 108. That is why, my brothers and sisters, the religious diversity we see is not a sign that God created several gods or several religions. It is rather a reminder that humans are responsible for remaining faithful to the true message or for deviating from it according to their choice.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zakir Naik, for all your explanations. Thank you also to the audience for listening to me and for giving me the opportunity to ask this important question. Your answer really enlightened me on why there are so many religions today and on the role of man in the divergence of beliefs. May Allah bless you, dear Professor Dr. Zakir Naik.
Thank you very much, Lucas, for your sincere words and for this relevant question. And thank you all, dear brothers and sisters, Muslims and Christians, for being present and attentive. Before we part, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, like this video, share it with your friends and family, and especially to participate in the comments, to continue exchanging your thoughts and asking further questions. These respectful and open dialogues are essential to understanding the truth and bringing our hearts closer together, always remaining guided by knowledge and sincerity.